Good evening and thank you for joining us. Dog lovers in Hong Kong will be able to dine out with their pups soon as the city prepares to issue the first batch of up to 1,000 licenses to eateries, allowing them to legally welcome pet dogs. Some restaurant owners are keen to sign up as they anticipate that allowing dogs will boost business. Samantha Lee talked with them.
Dogs are generally barred from the indoor areas of restaurants, but things are changing. The government is giving the green light for dogs to be allowed in eateries, except for venues serving barbecue and hot pot due to safety concerns. In the initial rollout, the scheme will start with a quota of 500 to 1,000 restaurants, which is around 3 to 5% of all eateries in Hong Kong. If the demand is overwhelming, licenses will be decided by drawing lots. Successful applicants will have to pay $140 for a permit and place the signage at the entrance. In Sai Kung, some restaurant operators are eager to apply as a move to capitalize on the growing pet economy.
Then the people, they get annoyed, they felt sad, we're not welcoming enough the pets. So few of our regulars, few people just stopped coming. So yeah, in that way, it did affect the business.
How many percent increase or drop in business?
I think 20 to 30.
Under the government's regulations, dogs must be kept on a leash no longer than 1.5 meters. That is roughly the distance between two dining tables in this restaurant.
Pets has to be more clean, hygienic, and of course friendly as well, because they don't want to get fighting each other. Noise problem for the people who is enjoying the dinner. Maybe someone having a romantic dinner, but if your pet is very noisy, they couldn't enjoy the dinner, so which is break all the restaurant image. So in that case, we have to be still careful to bring the pet inside. Depends what kind of pet we are looking for.
The proposal states non-dangerous dogs and fighting dogs are prohibited in food premises. What do patrons think? This man hopes a clear boundary could be set to keep pets and people separate. At the end of the day, you have to spare a thought for people who are afraid of animals, he said. Meanwhile, Ms. Lee believes it is pet owners' responsibility to keep their dogs under effective control and do clean up after them, just as they do on the streets. She said she would never sit a big dog right next to a small one, as she is aware dogs can be unpredictable. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
For 2025 as a whole, the city's total retail sales was provisionally estimated at $380 billion, up 1% year-on-year. The value of total retail sales in December 2025, provisionally estimated at $35 billion, was an increase of 6.6% compared with the same month in 2024. Of the total retail sales value in December 2025, online sales accounted for 8.8%. The value of online retail sales in that month, provisionally estimated at $3.1 billion, was an increase of 30.9% compared with the same month in 2024. A government spokesperson said, looking ahead, improving local consumption sentiment together with continued vibrant growth in inbound visitors will continue to be favorable to retail businesses. The Insurance Authority says so far it has settled 1,032 claims related to last year's Wanful Court fire in Tai Po, which account for 85% of all cases. Payouts totaled nearly $510 million. A total of 169 life insurance claims have been processed, involving about $60 million. For general insurance claims, the body settled 863 cases with payouts of about $450 million. The Insurance Authority says while most claims have been settled, the remaining cases require on-site inspections and damage assessments, and it would continue to follow up with the Hong Kong Federation of Insurers. President Xi Jinping met Uruguayan President Yamadou Orsi in Beijing today. Orsi's visit is the first by a South American leader to China since the U.S. attack on Venezuela at the beginning of last month. President Xi held a welcoming ceremony for the Uruguayan president at the Great Hall of the People. The two inspected the Guard of Honor. She said China and Uruguay have set a good example of win-win cooperation between economies of different sizes. She pointed out China and Uruguay share similar ideals and a deep friendship, and are good neighbors and partners separated only by the sea. She said, faced with a current complex and volatile international situation, China and Uruguay should continue to deepen their comprehensive strategic partnership. Orsi said developing relations with China has become a national policy of Uruguay. The mainland has announced that starting from January 1st next year, electric vehicles will be banned from using hidden door handles and must be equipped with mechanical release handles. Chinese authorities stipulate that electric vehicle models already approved for sale will be given a 2-year transition period to modify their designs to comply with the new rules. In recent years, hidden door handles popularized by Tesla have sparked concerns, and U.S. authorities have begun probes into Tesla over the safety of its concealed door handle design. Xiaomi vehicles using similar designs have also been involved in 2 fatal accidents. In October 2025, a Xiaomi SU7 Ultra caught fire after a high-speed collision in Chengdu. Following a power failure, the door handles could not be opened from the outside and the driver died. In March, a similar incident in Anhui, leading to the death of 3 passengers aboard a Xiaomi SU7. According to China Daily, around 60% of the top 100 new energy vehicles sold in China last April were equipped with hidden door handles. Analysts say that as the world's largest EV market, China's new rules are likely to influence global standards for car door handle designs. The United States has launched a strategic critical minerals reserves program allocating nearly $12 billion to reduce its reliance on Chinese rare earth elements. Tracy Furness has more.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced the start of Project Vault, which would initially be funded by a $10 billion loan from the U.S. Export-Import Bank and nearly $1.67 billion in private capital.
For years, American businesses have risked running out of critical minerals during market disruptions. Today, we're launching what will be known as Project Vault, to ensure that American businesses and workers are never harmed by any shortage. We don't want to ever go through what we went through a year ago.
Trump described the plan as similar to the strategic oil reserve over the years, designed to protect manufacturers from disruptions in supply of key minerals. The funds will be used to purchase and store key minerals, building up U.S. mineral reserves for companies in sectors such as automobiles and technology. Reuters, citing U.S. officials, reported that 3 commodity trading companies will manage the procurement of key minerals, aiming to maintain reserves sufficient for 60 days of supply in an emergency. A management structure will also be established, with the Export-Import Bank of the United States likely to have a seat within it.
The best part about it is that the American taxpayer will earn a return on financing the first ever strategic critical minerals reserve in history.
Economic security is national security, and a country does not have sovereignty if we don't have control of our critical minerals, don't have control of our steel production and our industrial base. We are taking back our sovereignty, and we are going to have this Vault project, a strategic mineral reserve, and I can't tell you how innovative and exciting this is.
The Trump administration had earlier launched tariff wars against many countries. China reacted by controlling the export of key minerals, such as rare earth. Most of the world's rare earth comes from China. Beijing's foreign ministry said today that China's position has remained the same. All sides are responsible for maintaining the steady and secure supply of minerals. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Thai police and military are looking for victims of a scam center discovered close to its northern border in Cambodia. Such operations in Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos have gained notoriety for cheating people around the world out of billions of dollars. The syndicates behind these centers also carry out human trafficking. Nasir Karim has more.
A rundown apartment complex in Osmak, Cambodia, near the northern Thailand border. The name Osmak Resort hides a dark interior and an even darker past, the scene of a brutal human trafficking, kidnapping and scam underworld that has traumatized thousands of lives. The people behind this were highly organized. This is almost a perfect replica of a mainland China police station, a fake background of a bank branch in Vietnam, Brazilian police, Australian police, Singapore police. Backdrops and uniforms used to dupe victims into thinking they were talking to real officials and scamming them out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Training rooms for callers, most of whom were grabbed off the streets or lured to Thailand by false job promises, only to be captured and taken to work in scam centres where failure to make money can lead to beatings or worse. The words "no money" stroke already took 297,000 scribbled on a whiteboard. The site is now occupied by Thai troops who captured the compound in recent military exchanges with Cambodia.
Yeah, I think this is a very big, I think the biggest scam compound ever seen that we be able to get the evidence. Before, it's very difficult to get evidence from Cambodia side. So I think that's very useful for us. What we are looking for is the victim of this scam center. That is the most important. We would like to identify and bring them back to their relative. Not only Thai, we are looking for the other nationality as well.
They have the well organized, they have the good structure and system, and also the workflow and many of tactic and technique to do the scam.
Similar scam centers are believed to exist elsewhere in Cambodia, Myanmar and Laos, with these countries coming under pressure from China, the US and others to crack down on such criminal activities. Last month, China executed 11 members of a Myanmar-based syndicate, including several from the same family. On Monday, Chinese media reported that 4 members of the Bai family criminal group were executed for large-scale cross-border telecom fraud and violent crimes targeting Chinese citizens. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
Welcome back. The Office of the Privacy Commissioner for Personal Data received more than 4,200 complaints last year, up 23% year-on-year. Reviewing the office's work for 2025, the Privacy Commissioner for Personal Data, Ada Chung, says they received a total of 4,228 complaints, representing a 23% increase from the year before. Over 90% of the complaints involved private sector organizations and individuals, while some 390 complaints were lodged against public bodies or government departments, a proportion similar to that in 2024. As for data breaches, the office received 246 cases last year, a 21% increase year-on-year. 32% involved public bodies. 92 other cases involved data breaches by schools or non-profit organizations. The main causes included hacking incidents and the loss of documents.
There has been a significant or consistent rise in the number of hacking cases over the years. But again, this is not something unique to Hong Kong. This happens everywhere. And that is why everyone, including companies, NGOs, schools, they do have to pay some priority to safeguard the personal data in their possession.
The office also intervened in data security incidents involving 3 organizations. In one case, an employee of a security company complained that their supervisor has sent a termination notice to a messaging app group chat, which contained the complainant's HKID card number. In another case, an administrative staff member at a social welfare organization complained that scanned copies of their dismissal records were placed in a shared departmental drive, exposing their salary details and reasons for termination. The office says both cases involve a lack of awareness in safeguarding sensitive personal information. The office has issued notices to the organizations to beef up staff training. As for doxing cases, the office handled 308 cases last year, marking a 30% drop year-on-year. Among them, 147 cases required criminal investigation, resulting in 18 people being arrested. The government is looking into relaunching the tenants' purchase scheme for public housing tenants. While the move was not explicitly mentioned in the 2025 policy address, it is believed Chief Executive John Lee thinks the scheme is worth keeping. Some 30,000 units remain unsold in the existing 39 public housing estates. Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho said the Bureau has to decide whether to include new housing projects for the scheme and how to enhance property management. She added preparations for the scheme are underway. Ahead of the Chinese New Year, Hong Kong's 3 note-issuing banks are offering new and good-as-new banknotes for residents to exchange. To address the demand for the Lai Si banknote exchange, all three banks opened an hour earlier than usual. At Standard Chartered Kwun Tong Road branch, long queues began forming as early as 7 a.m. Citizens could choose between a $3,000 new banknote set and a $1,000 good as new lucky banknote set, which include $20 and $50 banknotes. This resident exchanged more than $6,000, similar to previous years, but note that there will be slightly more prudence in giving out Lai Si given the economic situation this year. At HSBC's Nathan Road branch in Mong Kok, the doors opened before 8 a.m. It is offering a $3,000 new note set and a $6,000 mixed set. Banks have reminded customers to make online reservations in advance to reduce waiting time. But for those without online booking, HSBC says same-day queue tickets for new note exchanges are available from today until the Lunar New Year's Eve. Bank of China Hong Kong says all of its branches are providing new banknotes and good as new notes for exchange as well. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority has encouraged the public to consider using e-payment methods for giving out Lai Si, including services offered via online or mobile banking, FPS, or other e-wallets. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in a House investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Tracy Furness reports.
Representative James Corner, the chair of the House Oversight Committee, was advancing criminal contempt of Congress charges against both Clintons Monday evening for defying a congressional subpoena when attorneys for the Clintons emailed staff for the oversight panel saying the pair would accept Corner's demands and will appear for depositions on mutually agreeable dates. Bill Clinton, like a bevy of other high-powered men, had a relationship with Epstein in the late 1990s and early 2000s. He has not been accused of wrongdoing in his interactions with the late financier. This as British politician Peter Mandelson faces pressure to quit the House of Lords over Jeffrey Epstein ties. Mandelson, who was the former UK ambassador to Washington, quit the Labour Party Monday over Epstein file revelations. Meanwhile, the pressure is growing on Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, by US congressmen and even British Prime Minister Keir Starmer to tell lawyers representing victims what he knows about Epstein. But the last time he spoke out, he saw his reputation destroyed.
Ultimately, he was stripped of his titles and the ability to be called Prince. He's now called Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Experts say he's really unlikely to face any sort of questioning again. But victims' advocates say he really should. He really should because it would help the victims put together the broad jigsaw of what happened to them at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein.
And US President Donald Trump continued distancing himself from Epstein, even though his name appears more than 1,000 times in the Epstein files. Trump said he had never been to Epstein's Island and threatened to sue comedian and former TV host Trevor Noah, who joked at the Grammys Sunday that he had.
He said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's Island. I didn't. He made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Stars of sport and screen shined on the red carpet at Milan's world-famous Teatro alla Scala as the opening of the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympics nears. The list of luminaries were gathered for the opening ceremony of the 145th IOC session in the Italian city. The guest list included International Olympic Committee President Kirsty Coventry and her predecessor and now honorary IOC President Thomas Bach. FIFA President Gianni Infantino was also present, as was film star Michelle Yeoh. Hong Kong's Olympic Committee Chief Timothy Falk also made an appearance on the red carpet. The Winter Olympics will kick off on Friday. Some 2,900 athletes are expected to compete for 116 gold medals. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.